Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Shadowrun Hong Kong. Now, when we last left, we caught up with Ambrose, we caught up with Crafty. We haven't caught up with our crew yet, and we're going to go ahead and catch up with Gin first here, the Go players. Look who's back. Why didn't you go egg a car or something and leave us alone? Oh, that's a reference to a youthful prank. I, for one, enjoy Noel's visits. How can we help you? Sorry to interrupt. I was just wondering if you all are still having the dreams. This again? Don't you have anything better to do? Yes, we're all still having the dreams. However, they've got a hell of a lot worse. Oh, we've had this information. Anything would be great. Sure. Yeah, we've had this conversation. Didn't I redo this before when I had to redo the whole set? I guess I didn't. No, I remember doing this. Okay, understood. Take care. I remember doing this on this run. Twice. I remember doing that twice. Let's see if Reliable Matthew is any different. Well, beautiful, Reliable Matthew greets you with an expansive grin, sweeping his arms like, what do I owe this unexpected pleasure? Why, you're not here for some robotics, are you? Well, shucks. He rolls his shoulders ostentatiously and sticks a cigarillo casually between his teeth. His eyes have a strained, bloodshot look. It looks like someone vandalized your trailer. What? You mean the paint? That's just some neighborhood kids, good kids, having a lark. I nearly fell over laughing when I saw it this morning. Why would someone call you a job stealer? No idea. Drones are job makers. I know what you're thinking, Noel. I think it myself. Drones take jobs. Well, medicine takes jobs from undertakers. And sewer drones take jobs from people who used to crawl through the filth to feed their families. He holds his hand somberly over his heart, and his voice deepens. When you see a drone messenger or maid, it's easy to think, that used to be a person. Could be, but that person could do another job now, and they can have a drone themselves. Everyone is better off. In theory. And that's the way it should be. Automation will eventually, long-term, result in that. Short-term, you end up with a lot of people being very hungry. That has happened every time automation has entered, some level of automation has entered into the work thing, whether it was domestication of animals replacing people, or the forge or the printing press, steam engines, all of these writing and reading, all of these things ended up replacing replacing jobs that existed before them. But in the short term, there are people who have skills that are no longer applicable. Why? Matthew's voice rises. His smile wrinkles painfully around the edges as he carries on enthusiastically. The same people who call drone dealers job stealers often themselves come to me for... Matthew suddenly shuts up. His smile gets even more waxy. Oh, hey. Let's not get all wound up about this stuff. It's too cheery a day for running off in our heads. How do people in Hayoi feel about drones? How do people here feel about drones? Why, they love them. Just about every household can afford drones, has drones. You sure you don't want to try out this little UC2 Tarantula? It's a great entry-level personal assistant. Reliable Matthew smiles widely, but the edges of his mouth twitch uncomfortably. Drones free people to take skilled jobs. They make the economy more efficient. And drones give poor people services they couldn't ever afford otherwise. What exactly are the drones you sell used for? Just about everything. They're helpers to metahumans in all sorts of useful ways. Drones cook, clean, carry messages, lift heavy tools, tend to delicate tasks. Why, drones can even care for the infirm and provide companionship to children. Matthew taps his temple with his finger. Think about it, beautiful. All the boring, dangerous, painful jobs that people used to do, the jobs that drones do now. He glances around at Hayoi and up at the walled city looming above. Despite his bright eyes and gleaming smile, his voice sounds almost thoughtful. Because of mechanization, we don't force workers to breathe as many chemicals in the refineries. We don't make teenage girls pick silk cocoons out of boiling water. Not anymore. Drones help us. He shakes off his passing air of seriousness, clamps his cigarillo in his teeth, thrusts his hands in his pockets. They're really something else, ain't they? Well, Noel, just smell that brisk spring air. He inhales deeply through his nose, drawing in the fetid reek of the polluted river and the sodden heat of monsoon season. The topic is fascinating, really, but I've got to get back to work. Shall we walk the lot? I notice you have a lot of drones in your trailer. Drones in the trailer? Oh, I think I have a couple in there. Probably ones I'm fixing. There must be at least a dozen. Funny thing about drones, when you see a few, they always look like so many more. Weirdest thing. Strange little fellows. Let's not talk about maintenance. It's boring. I bet there's something you need today. Goodbye, Matthew. Okay. You're creepy in a couple of different ways. Oh, as a side note, I mean, it was last video, so you would know this, but we're now sporting a cybernetic leg as well. We'll be moving that much faster. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and catch up with crew next, and I think I've done that. Rigger Dock. That's new. Are anybody getting work done by an expat named Deleted? He's rigged dockware out in Deleted, but I hear he's better than most auto docks. Post Deleted. Read the rules, everyone. No calling out personal specifics or addresses of potentially active operators. Keep it to handles, generalities, and city sectors. At least 9 corporate bots are crawling the Haven as we speak. If he's the real deal, yo. He's solid and he's in with us. I'm sick of saying it. Anyone who gets Chrome installed by some hack running dockware in a converted restroom deserves the horrible nerve degeneration they'll die from. Those guys saw you up. You'll pay for it. Slottable dockware can't replace a real surgeon, period. The tech isn't there yet. I've scoped out the doc in question. I'm going to have to raid on your party hat. He's basically a family doc who moonlights at doing basic cyber. Nice guy, but he's no hitter, just a big bullshitter. Architects, you don't know shit. Yeah, come on, Ambrose is pretty good. Yep, okay. 2 unread new messages. Interesting. Mother's notes. Hey, Noel, here are these notes you asked for, but before you dive in, a heads up. They're a complete transcription of that list from my mother's journal, as in they're the thoughts and ramblings of an insane woman. It's not an easy read. Another dream. This time it was a near figure, a shadow, a wraith. Faceless. I heard its voice, though it did not speak, and when I awoke I was inside my home, though I had been in the city just moments before. Where am I? A weight dropped into me. I felt the words of the wraith in my skin and the tips of my hair. I saw its mouth in my mind's eye. Rows and rows and rows and rows of lies. Morning. My hand was to the paper before I even knew I was writing. I wrote the words, these words, they cannot lie. I added it to my list. Evening. Was it a king I saw? Was I really there? I was in the city, I'm sure of it. Then how did I end up here? Was I carried back? My list is growing. Soon, with this knowledge, I will stop the kings. A step forward is a step backward. A step backward is a step forward. Each wraith has a name, a true name and a false name. Knowing their true name is knowing their weakness. To call them on their lies is to make yourself invincible. They will still try to eat you. They fear the feathers of unborn chicks. Kings must be one or the other. That is, of the negative world or the positive. But positive doesn't necessarily make them good, nor negative make them bad. They simply are. Once a deal is brokered, it cannot be unmade. Kings and planets are closely connected. When nearest the sun, their power wanes. When furthest, it grows. Ooh. There is only one wraith. There is only one wraith. There may be 2 wraiths, but there is most certainly only one wraith. They must follow the laws of the universe, rules set in motion long ago. Should they concede defeat, all is lost to them. Kings are the rulers of us all. They take from us their lifeblood, and with it parts of our souls. Do not give them what they seek, and you will be their match. They cannot lie. Morning, I made breakfast. It fell on the floor in the shape of my death. Another truth revealed to me. I added it to my list. It's all or nothing. They are all liars. Another dream. It was in a white space. I could taste the color as if it were air. This time, no voice. Just rows and 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 rows. A mess, I know. Okay, a mess, I know. There's not a whole lot of significant material other than what I already picked out, but even that is contradicted within Mom's notes. Everything should be taken with a grain of salt. Meantime, I'll keep looking into it. Good luck on your end, Crafty. You have one unread message, but I can't get to it, apparently. Is it the out of town? Apparently not. That's that. So what is the other one? The one that I can't see. That does not fill me with pleasant thoughts. Jobs. Pending jobs. Back to root. Active job. Oh, no. Jobs. Active jobs. Data retrieval, urgent task, restaurant job, geomantic sabotage. Let's see. Okay, that's not it. Urgent task. This is the one we need to do. Okay. But first, we need to talk to people. Please, my friend, not now. We really must ready ourselves for the run on Ares Asia Holdings. I cannot and will not rest until my research has been recovered. We've heard this before. I read most of it already, so I might as well have finished reading it, but we've heard it before. In the darkness of the cabin, Gaichu is hunched over a pile of keepsakes. He has unpacked most of his box, and the contents are lying strewn about the floor in a disorganized mess. The ghoul gingerly picks through them, turning each one over in his fingers as he feels their shapes. He addresses you without looking up. Please mind your step, Noel. I fear I have made a mess, and many of my possessions are quite delicate. I would be rather upset if you were to accidentally crush any under your feet. After a moment, he places the one he holds, a small ceramic statuette of Daruma, to one side. Lifting his face in, he touches his brow in salute. I apologize for the mess. Why have you got all this out on the floor? Gaichu gingerly begins collecting his things and arranging them back in the box. I am simply thinking about the chain of events that have brought me here to Hong Kong. I inserted a word there. I've been considering our talk about my former unit, about what my plans are with regard to their incessant hunt and need for closure. I begin to think that I too need closure, and an end not only to the hunt, but to our dance around the core issue. One of us must die that the other might live. As it is, we are locked in stasis. How do you plan to accomplish that? That is the question I have bent my mind to answering since we last spoke. It is not an easy question to answer. My initial thought was to strike at a secure Rinraku holding, something valuable enough to draw the attention of the Red Samurai and ensure that Rinraku reported that a ghoul was involved in the mission. It turns out that was not necessary. I began searching the Shadowlands BBS for any jobs against Rinraku Holdings here in Hong Kong. Gaichu taps his braille reader with one toe. It is surprisingly easy to use the matrix when you can read postings with your fingers. Slower than direct interface, but certainly possible. I also began to offer a reward for information on Red Samurai teams known to be in the city. A modest reward, nothing that would attract too much attention, but enough to keep people interested. Gaichu grins thinly, cradling his chin in one hand. This bore fruit. A Red Samurai team arrived here a short time ago, smaller than normal size. It sounds like it could be them. It is definitely them. My contact described Ishida and Takagawa perfectly, as well as a new heavy gunner, most likely from another disgraced squad. What's more, he described a woman who looked exactly like Sasaki, but with a scar here on her forehead. Gaichu draws a finger down across his brow over his right eye, precisely where I cut her. How are you going to draw them out? Simply put, I intend to lure the team into responding to an action they believe to be perpetrated by an ordinary Shadowrunner and ambush them. Then I will kill them. All of them. Once that is done, I can be free. I have found a job I am certain will draw Rinraku response. Red Samurai response. Rinraku is moving a prototype drone through Hong Kong. On the way to research facility in Chiba, it is of new design, implementing machine learning and pseudo-intelligence. Gaichu stands, smiling wryly. Something that advanced would certainly attract a Red Samurai team should someone attempt to steal it. How can you be certain? Red Samurai are primarily proactive. The majority remain at the forge until dispatched across the world. Those that are not assigned to guard high-valued locations, black laboratories, secure research facilities, and major complexes. Hong Kong has none of these, as Rinraku's facilities of that type are primarily located in Taiwan. My former unit will be the only one close enough to respond to the threat. The Johnson for this run is a Rinraku scientist escorting the drone. He wishes to leave Rinraku's employ, but he is unwilling to risk reprisal should he escape on his own. To put it simply, he wishes to make it look like he was killed during a robbery, hence why he wishes the experimental drone stolen. If there is no body, there will be no investigation into his whereabouts. So, we can kill two birds with one stone. Gaichu inclines his head in agreement. Precisely. I can rid myself of my pursuers, and he can be free of their yoke. While I owe this man no loyalty, I think I understand his sentiment. Besides, we will be receiving payment for a job. Okay, let me ask you some questions about the run before I agree to anything. Very well. What would you like to know? How do you know it's not a trap? Fair question, but one with a simple answer. The Red Samurai are very risk-adverse. Part of our training is to always put our lives on the line in defense of the company. Risking this drone in their quest for vengeance would be unthinkable. Gaichu gestures at a stack of chips lying nearby. I did my own digging. The shipping schedule lines up perfectly to place the drone in Hong Kong, and Red Samurai would not have the authority to fake such records unless ordered to by their superiors. As I am the unit's private shame, this would not become a large corporate matter. There is no profit in killing me for the company, only for the unit. How do you know the drone would rate a Red Samurai response? Before I was infected, we escorted and guarded similar projects in the drone division. While I am unsure whether this one belongs to precisely the same research division, they are close enough to make Red Samurai involvement a certainty, in my opinion. Drone research is one of Rinraku's main advantages over larger megacorporations. Ares controls military hardware. Seder Krupp has their heavy industry. But Rinraku is the foremost drone development company in the world. No one else even comes close. Rinraku will deploy Red Samurai to protect that advantage. Rely on it. Are you certain you can take them all on yourself? Well, I was hoping you would help me, you and the rest of the team. Gaichu shifts, running a hand over his bald head. He looks away in embarrassment. I may be able to kill them all myself. It is possible, but as I said before, I intend to give myself every possible advantage. That includes you, Wu, Gobbet, and the rest of the team. More guns mean a higher chance of victory, and that is proper way to lay a trap. Right? I know enough. Good. Gaichu shifts uneasily. He seems to be sniffing the air in anticipation. What, may I ask, is your decision? When do we leave? As soon as you are ready, I will message Mr. Johnson to let him know that we are prepared to fake his murder and to be ready for our arrival. I suggest you prepare as well. The Red Samurai are excellent combatants, not to be taken lightly. We now have another job. Oh, wait. Box of mementos. Let's see if there's new mementos. The box is currently mostly empty. The contents scattered around the floor. Those things that remain inside are primarily items you have already viewed. Near the bottom, however, two things stand out. A small glass vial and a threadbare plush octopus? The ragged plush animal has seen better days. The purple fuzz has been mostly worn away. Ah, poor Luska, exposing the fabric underneath. There are slightly darker spots on both sides of the toy's body, presumably where eyes once were. Before you can even ask a question, Gaichu raises a hand to silence you. His name is Tako-kun. My mother gave him to me. No, I am not ashamed of this. Never be ashamed of keeping something your mother gave to you. Gaichu's eyes narrow and he sniffs at you as he tries to determine whether you are making fun of him. There is almost nothing in my life I have to remind me of my family. This is the one thing I kept to serve that purpose. But why an octopus? Because I like octopi? Gaichu still seems uncertain whether he should be angry or not. Octopus is a clever creature. It knows how to conceal itself, how to open jars, escape from tanks. There are worse things than to be reborn as an octopus. I've always admired them for their talents. No one knows what an octopus is thinking when they look into its eye. They only know that they are being studied just as much as they are studying it. With that, Gaichu reaches out to take the plush toy, placing it gingerly back in the box. And the vial. The small vial is filled with a clear fluid, and a small brownish-gray worm is floating inertly within. There is no label, nor any markings on the cork to indicate what the worm is or why Gaichu has kept it. Do you collect worms? Gaichu grunts, not bothering to look at you. Hey, Madipsa zeylanica. The Japanese mountain leech. Okay, but why keep it? Okay, Gaichu. Gaichu. At this, Gaichu turns to face you. You see that he's grinning wickedly. Have you heard the story of Izanami and Izanagi? Oh, you mean the Japanese creation myth. The academic etiquette comes with so much knowledge. Your intelligence is only like 2 or 3, but I think it's 2. But yeah, you've apparently read a lot. Yes, the same. Most Japanese know that Izanami and Izanagi birthed 8 children, each one becoming an island in the archipelago. Far fewer know that these were not the pair's first child, however. The pair's first child was known as Hiruko, the leech child. It was deformed and disgusting, without limbs or bones. As a creature that sucked blood, it was a parasite and served no useful purpose. So they cast it into the sea. Some say that Hiruko became Ibisu, the god of luck and fishermen, but I believe that to be a later confusion. In the oldest tales, Hiruko lurks in the darkness of at the edges of civilization, avoided by the kami, but unmolested by them. As the first child of Izanami and Izanagi, he had great power and could destroy any kami that attempted to harm him. Perhaps it is a reflection on my own state, but I like this story. The creature of disease and disgust that cannot be killed because it is too powerful, yet is forever condemned to stay in the distance beyond the firelight. A little like myself, no? Leave the box alone. I guess there are going to be new ones there. Eventually we'll run out. I'll save that for later. And give me a moment to start a new video. See you then.